The Needham Gateway Shops at the intersection of Highland and 2nd Avenues will soon be home to new businesses. The property owner, Needham Gateway LLC, confirmed at the Planning Board meeting on June 29th that the current tenants, Frank Webb Home, Supercuts, and Omaha Steaks, will not renew their leases ending next year. The Planning Board voted to remove some of the prohibited uses on that land. Municipal producer Yu Xiaowin has the details.
Two buildings are currently sitting on the affected land. One located at 120 Highland Avenue provides space for multiple tenants, including Panera Bread, Supercuts, Omaha Steaks, and Geico. The other, located at 100 Highland Avenue, houses one single retailer, Frank Webb Home. The special permit Needham Gateway obtained from the town in 2006 specifically prohibited uses for restaurants except for Panera Bread, sports clubs and athletic merchandise stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, banks, and video rental stores. Now, with three tenants who collectively occupy over 55% of the space leaving next year, Needham Gateway is seeking relief of the prohibitions to be able to recruit a greater variety of tenants. At the Planning Board meeting on Tuesday, June 29th, Needham Gateway attorney Rick Mann explained the difficulty of competing with other commercial properties under the restriction.
The e-tailing phenomenon has increased competition among retail centers for the fewer brick-and-mortar users that are still in the marketplace. The prohibitions in the special permit have placed the shopping center at an unfair competitive disadvantage relative to other properties in the Highland Commercial 128 zoning district and relative to other properties in neighboring Newton along Needham Street with whom the shopping center competes for tenants.
The special permit also waived the required number of parking spaces and lowered the required setback from the neighboring residences to 20 feet. The prohibition of certain uses, which although are allowed as a matter of right or by special permit under the zoning, intended to reduce negative impact on the surrounding neighborhood.
There's only so much parking on the property, and there was concern that if a retail use went in, which had a higher parking demand than a specialty retail, which had a less of a parking demand, that the parking would be inadequate. So the parking waiver was granted with the understanding that the uses that were going to go in there, Panera Bread had a unique model, was going to have less parking demand, and the retail itself was going to be retail that doesn't tend to generate a lot of parking demand. And so, because that's what was agreed to and represented at the time, the board basically decided, well, what are the high retail traffic generation uses or food uses that we want to basically then specifically prohibit to make sure it doesn't tip.
The meeting included a public hearing where residents, most of them living in the neighborhood that abuts the land, expressed concerns over traffic and noise, particularly by more restaurants.
This is a parcel that, as you've discussed, it does abut an existing residential neighborhood. And it was not just traffic and parking, I don't think. I think there were some issues of noise and commotion that would be coming from restaurants or bar facilities.
There's families here, there's children here. I can see the FW web from my window, and you know, we do back up into this, and I don't know, I feel like this is a neighborhood that really is overlooked by the rest of Needham. And I just want to make sure that when you guys make a vote that you guys have our best interest at heart.
Needham Gateway manager Mike Moskowitz assured the public as long as Panera Bread kept operating on that land, the property owner would not bring in other restaurants. Later, he confirmed Panera Bread has already extended their lease until 2026. Moskowitz said a few banks have reached out and their operation would not increase traffic.
We don't have the space for that. The banks that have expressed some interest are recognize that there's no drive-through and there's no standalone ATM machine.
In the end, the board voted 4 in favor and 1 against to remove banks, sports clubs and athletic merchandise stores, pharmacies and video rental stores from the prohibited use. Board member Martin Jacobs suggested a clearer definition of sports clubs and athletic merchandise stores in zoning language, which the board agreed should not include fitness and exercise facilities. The amendment made the use of banks as a matter of right. Board member Jim McKnight opposed the amendment due to concerns over the bank's capacity.
We're making a decision now, theoretically, that a bank would not require more parking than the prior uses that were approved for the site. I'm not positive because we don't have the application before us with the number of employees, the parking demand that we can consider.
The other approved use will also become a matter of right as long as the store occupies less than 10,000 square feet. Stores that occupy between 10,000 to 25,000 square feet will require a special permit. For the Needham Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.